Mortal Kombat! Hello, everybody. This is Clayton, and I just finished watching what I said at the beginning. Basically, when it comes to the Mortal Kombat series, it's absolutely the arcade game classic that everyone loves for not only creating the ESRB, but for introducing arcades to tons of violence, gore, and all things that us gamers love. So when it comes to Mortal Kombat movies, on the other hand, you have one decent 1995 film that's, generally good for its time, and one of the worst video game movies of all time with its sequel, Mortal Kombat Annihilation. So where does this 2021 film stack up? I'd say it's kind of the best Mortal Kombat movie by default. It's clearly got its flaws, but at the same time, it delivers exactly the kind of spectacle that the Mortal Kombat fans would want to see on the big screen. Let's get to the story, shall we? The story focuses on a movie original character called Cole Young, played by Louis Tan, who's basically this fighter who has basically been hitting a huge slump recently. But his life is turned upside down when the fighters of Outworld, led by Shang Tsung, played by Chris Hahn, have basically been invading Earthrealm and have been breaking the rules of Mortal Kombat that were set by the Elder Gods. So after Cole is picked up by Jax, and after he finds Sonya Blade, he ends up in a world where he realizes he has to be one of the chosen fighters of Earthrealm in order to save it from the Outworlders, and to find out secrets about his past that explain why he's in this movie to begin with. Along the way, we meet tons of Mortal Kombat characters you may remember, like Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Sonya Blade, Melina, Nitara, General Reiko, Kano, and, tons of other ones that end up showing up in this movie. So when it comes to the plot, the Mortal Kombat games, while they do have their cool stories for the sake of fighting games, it doesn't really translate that well to a coherent story for films. But then again, Mortal Kombat was less about stories and more about the awesome fighting. And it definitely happens to fulfill that aspect quite well throughout its runtime. Not to say that they fight all the time, but there are plenty of action scenes throughout the film, and they definitely take advantage of the R rating. As in, there's tons of fatalities, the blood is used a lot, and the CGI for some of the characters is actually pretty good, particularly for characters like Goro. I know that people would have preferred the animatronic look for Goro like he had in the 1995 film, but they couldn't exactly do great CGI back in the 90s, and it's clear the technology's improved a lot since then. On top of that, they got Sub-Zero and Scorpion a lot more right here than they did in the 1995 film, and I like the fact that they actually made them Chinese and Japanese to fit their characters in this one, to the point where they even talk to each other in Chinese and Japanese at several points throughout the film. And on top of that, while Johnny Cage doesn't appear in the film at this point, there are several references to him, and I'm getting a sense that if this gets a sequel, we're going to see the Cage Man in there at some point. And while he did mainly serve his role as comic relief, as well as a pretty good fighter in the other Mortal Kombat movies, Kano basically takes his place as far as comic relief goes here. And Josh Lawson, the person who plays Kano, he looks like he's having a lot of fun in the role, so there's that. Though I will say that the explanation for why the fighters end up as Earthrealm champions, as in these birthmarks that appear on them, the whole dragon symbol on your body means you're a chosen one, did feel like it was a weird way to handle it, even by Mortal Kombat standards, and felt like it was only there to give Sonya something to complain about. But then again, Mortal Kombat isn't always the most coherent with its storytelling, or even the most consistent, as they've rebooted the franchise God knows how many times at this point. So I'm fine with this different version. So if you basically just want to see people hitting each other, using weapons, and performing brutal fatalities, you'll get it, but it's not in a movie that has the best story, or even one that has a tournament. But for Mortal Kombat fans, I'm pretty sure a bloody spectacle is what you want, and that's what you're going to get. That's why I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. See you next time.